Get ready, folks, because I'm about to burn this Bible, and you guys get to be the first to watch. Now, if what I just said infuriated you, scared you, intrigued you, I would say you were right about all three. I'm not going to be burning anything today, not to mention one of my favorite books. And it's not for the reasons you think. A book in and itself, and when I say book in and of itself, I'm talking about what kind of binding does it have? What is the quality of the binding? Is it leather? Okay. And I think anyone that appreciates a book or books about stuff like this would definitely want it to be something that's just visually striking, sitting on a shelf. It stands out. It always has. It has that mystique about it. So, what can I say? I obviously was raised a Christian, so the Bible to me does have somewhat of a sentimental value. It certainly is what I'm going to go ahead and call a grimoire, because basically this book is full of stories of the magicians who practice magic, using, of course, all the old god names and all that stuff before Christ came along. So there's a lot of magic in the Bible. And when I say magic, I mean just, characters with supernatural talents. So there's a lot of over and under expectation about this book. If you've never actually sat and read through the entire Bible, if you actually just do it one time from beginning to end, you'll see what I mean by the time you get to the end of it. It is random books from different individuals who have been put into one large book. But before that, it was in not only two, but probably three different languages before it became in English. From Hebrew to Latin, from Latin to French, and then French to English, and on, etc. Think of the lives that have been saved and the lives that have also perished because of this book. No matter whether you're a fan of the content or you actually believe that the whole book is true, I find it so fascinating that you'll have people who are so religious and they only have this book. To take something at random and to just declare it true doesn't make it true. The controversy that surrounds this book to this day is guaranteed to cause more bloodshed. The justification for the times to come, I guarantee they'll be using this against you, the people who believe in Christianity. Because the persecutor now, on the other side of the fence, has traded sides with us And now it's our turn to baptize in the fire. And I know I'm preaching to the choir here, because people that are really into spirituality shouldn't have to identify yourself with any group or cult for you to just say that, there's a possibility this book has truth, metaphorically or physically. But that doesn't mean that you should just only landlock yourself into this piece of information. And that, in a nutshell, is the problem I have with most Christians and people who practice this faith. The judgment, the hypocrisy, all of it really has tainted what this was intended for. So we can thank our history for taking something that was meant to be beautiful and obscuring it and destroying its true meaning. And for those of you that know what I'm talking about, you understand. God isn't going to send you to hell because you called him by a different name. It's that simple, guys. People don't go to hell because they use foul language. Even the Bible says the unforgivable sin is to deny God. And who is God? It's you. That's the difference between a magician and a normal person. Is that you have the ability to understand this concept. Because sometimes the amnesia actually lifts and we see what we really are. This book cannot possibly define every single thing for every single human being by itself. And for anyone that is went that far to believe that, I take my hat off to you, because I guess really it's I don't know. It is such a horrid subject because there's so much pain and suffering wrapped up in this volume. This is a tragedy, this book. And despite all its attempts for inspiration, the one thing it definitely does achieve is who's a part of the flock and who's a goat. We're not black and white, guys. We're not cut down the middle. You have to make your own path. At the end of the day, it's a book. If you believe it, then it's magic. Question it. Argue against it. If you fell, maybe you're meant to be a Christian. If there are things that lead you to be a Christian, you should be a Christian. But don't tread on me, my friends. I know that people like me who are not what you would call so-called Christians would come out for Christians. But I doubt that Christians would come out for people that practice black magic. I really doubt that. And that's the difference between us, is that we would be willing to work with them. It's them who have decided that they're above it. They'll work with anyone else, but they won't work with anyone associated with the occult. I guess it's because the witch trials were a total failure. It didn't really stop magic. Nothing could stop magic. Nothing. especially not an ancient book that's so chock full of the very thing they condemn.